All right, the bottom line is, all right, cool. There's a lot of other things on this screen that's not on there. So the bottom line is, all I'm going to kind of talk about is how to leverage your network, specifically like some LinkedIn pro tips, things that I think and have found to be very useful. 90% of this I stole from somebody else. So if you're upset at me, I'll tell you who really to be upset at. Cool? Alrighty. So here's like the agenda, right? Basically, I'm just going to go over like the value of your soft skills. Who here is actually like prior service? Oh, cool. Airborne. All right. Nope, nobody? All right, that's all right. Even if you are, a lot of people are like, oh man, those guys always calling me dirty, nasty leg, whatever that means. But either way, can you guys even see this? All right, I'm just gonna yell it at you, all right? So we're gonna talk a little bit about soft skills, the value of your soft skills. Who here is like a entry-level developer or thinking like trying to break into the industry? Okay, great, I'm not talking to like the wrong audience. Good deal. All right, so basically, in terms of like interviewing and getting into tech, you'll be really surprised how much the cultural fit is important. It's great that you understand the algorithms. It's great that you're like, hey, what's this heap thing? What's this tree? What's a graph? Great, I got a raise, cool. But like, how are you as a person? Like, how are you as like a human being is pretty important. And so you'll find that in these interviews, I'm gonna ask you this like whiteboard algorithm question just to see how you think and that you're not like lying on your resume, you know what I mean? And then I'm just gonna evaluate the entire time. One, how do you think and approach problems? And number two, do I wanna work with you, right? So if you're doing like an interview, the idea is that you wanna make sure you like leverage a lot of those soft skills. In the military, I guess they're like hard skills because they're kind of harsh and sharp, but the idea is that like you have a lot of value that you bring outside of just your subject matter expertise in the technical skills. Cool. Great. In terms of like finding jobs, right? I'm going to tell you a lot. I sound like Tony Robbins or something about like not cold applying, right? And if you do cold apply, I'll talk to you a little bit about that as well. And just the idea behind leveraging your network and your relationships with human beings, because that's what it's about at the end of the day, right? We build software for like other people. Unless you're doing like this stuff, which is super cool. And then like we have to worry about Terminator. That Skynet is happening. All right. We talked about personal pitch before. So I'm just going to touch a little bit about that and like kind of how to formulate it and why that's important. Meaningful conversations. Who here is familiar with GitHub? Smart. All right. There's something about knowing your worth in here. So I'm just going to like glance over that. And then I'm finally going to get to the good stuff. And I'm going to talk about like LinkedIn. All right. Any questions? Yep. Never are. I know. It's probably because I'm so clear. My students are looking at me over there like, no, you're not, buddy. Terrible. All right. So in terms of soft skills, right? These are the main things that everyone basically knows about, but it's always good to hear and reinforce as a refresher. So as I kind of go over these things, just think through how do you practice these things and then be able to tell that story in an interview, right? So like we're talking about empathy. The world doesn't revolve around you, right? So how do you understand what somebody else is going through? Who here has like been solving a coding problem and just absolutely did not want to hear it from anybody else because you are knee deep in it? Right? Yeah, you've been there? Cool. Try not to be absolutely not trying to hear help when you're in an interview. What I mean is you're going to get this problem. The person is trying to help you. So if you're asking questions, which you should be, right, just be open to the feedback. I've literally interviewed a candidate where I'm like, have you thought about this? No, that's not how to do it. I'm like, okay. Cool. Yeah, did not hire that person, right? I mean, you're laughing, but like everybody makes this mistake, right? I've been there. I've been like in the middle of a code jam and someone's like, hey, have you looked at this? I'm like, Bill, that's definitely not the error. And they're like, Bill, that's literally what the error said. I'm not helping you at all. I just read the error out loud. It's like, okay, cool, thanks. Communication. How you communicate is very important. So for those that are like junior devs or finally breaking out into the industry, you're gonna learn a ton of vocabulary words, right? So who here has like been studying some JavaScript? Cool. Smart, right? You're going to hear words like closure, and you hear words like callbacks, something about scope, prototypical inheritance. And then you're going to be like, great, I know what they are. And then someone's going to ask you, cool, what's a closure? I mean, you know what it is, right? It's like, there's a function and there's curly brackets, curly boys, and then you have access to stuff. Like, all right, good. Very clear, good communication. The idea is that, unfortunately, the game is that you have to be able to explain what it is. And you don't have to have the definition by heart, but it's always good to just be like, hey, can I just give you a quick example, right? So I teach all this stuff, right? I teach just the basics of Ruby and JavaScript at a very basic level. And some of my students, right? All right, I'm just gonna talk smack over here. Some of my students who are very brilliant, by the way, will feel that they understand. The idea is that I just taught a class. So I also teach, I'm an adjunct professor at City College. I teach ROTC, so I'm still in. I'm a reservist, boo, right? And so I put on the uniform once a week on Fridays, and I teach ROTC. And the class I just taught was how to think critically, which I think would be really good for lieutenants, right? Hopefully. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, very good. And the idea is that you don't really know something until you can explain it. Do you feel like that's fair? And so pair programming is super important. So try to explain something, right? Like when I learned something new, I would just explain it to my best friend. Just like, hey, listen, I know you have no idea what I'm about to talk about, but just hold up for a second. Here's recursion in 2 minutes. Thank you. That's my best friend back there. Hi, best friend. Oh, snap, 2-second tangent. She brought donuts for everybody. So thank you, Kim. We love you, Kim. Wow, that does not work at school. I do that to my students and nobody gets it. Wow, I missed the military. Cool. We learn about these skills, right? Like teamwork. When's the last time you worked on a team? These are part of cultural interview questions. And it seems pretty silly, but those are the things that I want to rehearse, right? So when was the last time you were part of a team? How was it integrating in that team? You have plenty of stories, right? I was an officer, boo, right? I'm a dirtbag, sorry. The idea is that for those that were enlisted, you've probably worked for somebody much younger than you. How did that make you feel, right? Those are one of those main adversities that you have to think about. Some of you are trying to break into the industry, and you'll basically be working for a engineering manager who's 25 because they've been doing it since they were in high school. They have 8 years of experience, and they're a G at being a dev. And you're like me, you're 30. And you're great, I have to work for you. How can I do this? And the answer is yes. We've done it before in the military, right? So just be able to translate those skills and be able to integrate into the team. And that's really important. Is this useful so far? I'm sorry I'm not as smart as Andrew. Oh my God. Wow. I'll just blink lights like this, right? Awesome. Patience, right? We've been there. Have you followed orders you did not agree with? Cool. How do you deal with that, right? Think about patience in the military. Listen, you heard of if someone talks about patience, all you have to say is, have you heard of a phrase called hurry up and wait? I've got patience. Got it by the dozen. All right, open-mindedness, right? This is one of the weird things in terms of transition from the military. And one of the things that I've been told time and time again to write a blog post on, because it's kind of interesting. I'm not a blogger. Thank you for laughing at me, yes. Is that in the military, you are taught very specific skills. You're taught a very specific way to do things exactly this way. Right? Come on, man. You set me up for failure. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Take the hill. All right. Hey, you got a charger real quick? Airborne. All right. So the idea is that in the military, like dress right, 40 inches all around, exactly precise. Yet, how do we solve all the complex problems of the world, right? Talking about America, world police, right? The idea is that we can take something that's extremely rigid in our training and we can apply it and solve complex problems around the world. And that's exactly what you're doing with code, right? You forget that comma, that's really rigid. But you're taking these tools, you're taking these concepts, and you're solving literally any type of problem, right? So this is just the ideas that these military soft skills or just great human being soft skills in general will translate to that are very important. Cool. Talk about your time management skills. Another super pro tip, while I have like the mic, literally, is have you ever like researched a company you want to work for, you're about to interview for? Yes, you've done this. If you haven't, just lie to me. Very good. Go to their website, right? Because it's 2019, they should have one. And you're a developer. Look at literally the mission. Look at their values. They write it in plain English or whatever language you speak. And just think about how you embody those values, right? So if they're like, hey, our company is super scrappy, right? How are you scrappy? Make it so that the recruiter can sell you to the hiring manager. That's the bottom line. They have to know at the end of the day, like I have to pay 100x, 90, whatever. I'm a teacher, so I took a huge pay cut. Just say $5. All right, let's say I have to pay this person $5 a year to be an instructor at this school. Is this person worth it? Is this person a good culture fit for my team? Well, yes. Evans Wangtron over there is super scrappy. He radiates positivity. He's an excellent communicator. And I forgot the rest of the values. But whatever those values are, I was definitely them at the time for the interview. Does that make sense? Is that fair? Cool. All right, let's head to the next slide. It's going to be a lot, right? Let's just practice the idea that in cultural interviews, you're going to get non-technical questions. We're going to get to LinkedIn, don't worry. Cool. All right. Everyone's dream job's at Bookface, right? Not really. I mean, some people. I'm not a Bookface kind of guy. But it'd be like, hey, imagine it's your first day here at Facebook. What do you want to work on? Like, you should be able to answer these questions because they're trying to gauge how passionate you are about the company. It's easy as devs to be like, look, man, I just want to work. I don't really care what you do. Just like, I just want to build something, right? It's easy to do that. But the truth is, why do you want to do what you want to do? A very important quote for me is there's a company that no longer exists. Shame. Their mission was to make sure that you can build beautiful and meaningful things. And that really resonated with me, right? Sorry, I told you that story. But the idea here is like, what are you passionate about? Why do you want to work at this company? And be able to answer it. Some cool stuff I want to show you. I'll just hang out on the couch, right? It's a little fireside chat. The idea here is, can you just open up Chrome and go to literally any website, like Amazon, Condé Nast. Don't go to Condé Nast. Go to like Amazon.com or something. Right? Google's fine. Can you open the Chrome DevTools? Are you guys all web developers or like something else? Just like raise your hand if you're something else. Okay, sorry for the two people. Cool. So we're going to take a quick glance through the web dev tools over here. One of the things that you could click on, you see elements, network console performance, source, application. Command Option J. Yeah, cool, sweet. If you hit the double arrows up there. Cool, great. So one of the things that you can click right up here. My bad, Kev. Have you seen the DevTools before? Oh, thank God. All right. Nah, this only takes 2 seconds. Like, check out audits. This is something that the Google team has been working on. This is a pro tip. What it will literally do is it will run the website and check performance improvements that you can make on this website. I would seriously run this on your company you're interviewing for's website and then just read literally everything it lists. Google everything And then ultimately, when they're like, hey, have you taken a look at our website? You're a web developer. Like, you darn right. Darn right I did. Oh, so what kind of improvement suggestions do you think I should make? Watch this. How much time you got? But understand what they're doing, right? That's huge because it's like, great, you did your homework and you know why the face you're talking about, right? I don't like to curse. Boom. You're welcome. All right, we'll get to LinkedIn. This is useful, right? Also, speaking of like networking, as we get to LinkedIn, like join the Opcode Slack. You have no idea how many people work at so many of these different tech companies that just want to help you. It's weird. I sound like clickbait, right? Like, hey, join the Slack, and you get like 3 like people that want to help you. Yeah, like our current CEO Conrad, he knows like people hiring on like GitLab, which is different from GitHub. GitHub's also hiring. Flatiron School's hiring. Just so you know, Flatiron School's hiring. I work there. Be happy to refer you. This is a slight referral bonus, but it's because you're cool and I like you, right? But look at this, right? These are just things that you can Google. I'm not going to go through this right now. But if you want to chat, right? I guess I sound like almost as smart as Andrew. I told you not to go on that website. I told you. Embarrassing. Yeah. Ooh, oh, damn, look at that. DOM content loaded took 500 milliseconds. Violation. But why? No, I'm serious. And then you can literally go through and you can check snapshots. It'll tell you when the CSS loads. It'll tell you when the index.html loads. It'll tell you when the JS scripts load. It'll tell you everything. And then it'll tell you how long it takes to load. It'll send you a status request, 200, 300 if it can't find it and then has to go somewhere else for it. You know what I'm saying? Redirect, right? 400 if it's just not there. You probably want to get rid of that or fix the link for it, right? Smart. Cool. Hey, oh my God, uncut reference. Oh, look at that, get request failed. Embarrassing. That's the snapshot. There's a lot of good data there. There's an entire different lecture that I will probably do for you in Mod 3. But if you want to learn more, I mean, feel free to just ping me. Be happy to walk you through it. I probably have a recorded lecture on it that I can send you. You know what I'm saying? And then you learn a little bit. You know what I mean? Cool. All right, let's get back to that slide. We can see how amazing your website is later. Yeah, how y'all feeling? All right? Is it cool? Cool. Y'all want some donuts? You'll want to get them later though? Oh, okay. Wow, how polite of you. That is very nice. Cool. Is everyone cool on these like non-technical questions, just being somebody that you want to work with? Right, cool, let's hit this. Let's talk about networking, right? What I don't like is like this fake networking where it's like, hey, how you doing? And you exchange business cards and then you never talk again. That's whack, right? This is real networking. Like you're literally coming, you're meeting face to face, you're coming together. There's already a shared space here. Just come up to us and literally anyone that has like talked, right? Kevin's great. You should find him on LinkedIn. I don't know if you know, but he's a React developer at Condé Nast. Great reference. I think they're hiring. He is a software engineer. He writes some React at Condé. Is Condé hiring? Condé's always hiring. Condé's a great hire. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, that's really about it. But the important thing is to make a good, impactful connection. Like, hey, what is your day-to-day like? What do you like about the team? These are the things that you want to ask somebody out to coffee when you hit them up on LinkedIn. Believe it or not, people have egos, right? It's weird. And they love it. And so when you reach out to them, just like, oh my God, Grandmaster, you are so wise and smart. Please, if you can just spare 5, nay, 6 minutes for me, I would love to buy you a coffee and talk to you about what your day-to-day is like. Just like, man, imagine how that feels. You're a developer and someone just hits you up on LinkedIn And they're like, oh, damn, free coffee? And all I do is talk about me? I'm there. But think about it on the reverse side, right? Like, hey, you know what? Sure, why not? Seriously. It's very, very common to just like, cool. But don't like just completely blindly do it. And I'll show you some of the things I learned when I was like a dirty salesman. Ugh, embarrassing. That like really engage people. They're called hooks, right? We'll talk a little bit about that in terms of like the cold outreach, all right? 80% of job opportunities are only accessible through personal networks. Did you know that? You're nodding yes? Fact I made up. But it is up there. It is definitely more than 50% according to stats from like Forbes and stuff. I just jacked it up, make it sound good. But more than 50%, that's crazy. So we should do that. We should leverage our personal networks. Personal network could be anybody, right? Could be a colleague, could be aunt's cousin's best friend's baby mama, could be anybody. But as long as you, y'all like that? Y'all like that baby mama joke? Very good. Threw it back, eyebrows on fleek, yes? Okay, lost him already. So the bottom line is your personal network. Just because that person in your personal network is not a dev does not mean that person doesn't know somebody that is or works in a tech company, right? So like my best friend right there, she's in marketing. She brought donuts, right? She works at a tech company. It's a company called Datadog. I'm not going to talk too much about it because then I start like looking like I'm a Datadog like fangirl, which I kind of am. I totally am. They're the best. They're throwing this like conference called Dash. It's in July. You know what? Talk to Kim about it. It's great. So the point is, don't assume that they don't know anybody. No lie, I was getting a haircut like a few months ago, and my barber's like, "Oh my God, you're in tech? Yo, my brother's in tech. If I needed a job, you know I reached out to him like, yo, what's up with your brother? Let me buy that man coffee." That grandmaster shed me 6 minutes of his time, right? Just reach out. It could be anybody, anyone that's willing to talk to you. Because once they get to know you and realize how awesome and how cool you are and how much you love baby mama jokes, they're like, man, I need to hire this person. And they will refer you. And that's all you need. The rest is up to you. You just need to get the interview. Cool? All right. Look, be excited, right? Company name drop. Like, hey, do you know anyone that works at GitHub? You know anyone that works at Flatiron School? You know anyone that works at Bookface? It could be like the marketer. It could be the HR person. Could be legal. Yo, listen, this open floor space plan thing, it's all the rage in tech. Who here works at a tech company? Right? Let's be real. Like, who sits across from you? Is it only devs or like it could be freaking anybody? Could be anybody. Right? So reach out to them. They could literally be like, oh my God, the VP of engineering? Oh, yeah, I sit right next to him. Cool. So with them digits, right? And all I have to do is like reach out and just like, hey, are you interested in meeting this person? I believe they called you the Grand Master. They wanted 6 minutes of your time. And that's okay. I'm still your teacher, by the way. I heard that. They called me dumb. Oh, Doma. In that case, for giving a surprise. So yeah, like reach out to your network, right? Could be anybody. Is this like connecting with you guys? Cool. All right. And just hit the next slide. Whenever that wants to come up. The Internet of Things, right?
So I always mess up his name, but I think it's Yorton. But he's in Operation Code. He's been coming by. He reached out to me on LinkedIn. We talked a little bit. Spoke on Operation Code Slack. I brought him over. We had lunch. We had some coffee upstairs on the 64th. I pretty much gave him a mock interview. He did really well. I put him in as a referral, and he will be getting interviewed soon. So, like, that is the step you want to take.
Yeah. Thanks, Kevin, for being that exact example I needed. Did you give him 6 minutes of your time? Nice. Right? Could be anybody. All right, cool. Yeah. So the bottom line is like, how do you grow your network then, right? Let's just say you've exhausted everybody and all the baby mamas out there are a bunch of nobodies. They don't know anybody. Volunteer at a hackathon. Even if you're not good enough to go, which is a total lie, right? Imposter syndrome strikes all the time, every day. We can't escape. Literally the entire hour before this, I was like, I'm not prepared to give this talk. But here I am, rock you like a hurricane. Volunteer at hackathons. There's an organization called Script Ed. They turn into something else though. But it's basically like they teach high school students computer science. So if you know literally the P tag and you know how to grab an element, you can teach. I'm serious. I did it for a year. I know the curriculum very well. The people are very nice. And they do happy hours and they do get-togethers. And it's literally 40 devs that just hang out. That's a network right there. Just go and hang out. All you're doing, one minute you're throwing axes, the next minute you're asking for 6 minutes of somebody's time. And that's it, right? And it's awesome. Like, just get out there and they all know what you're doing, right? Yeah, you're venting about like high school students sometimes, but they want to help you. They literally are volunteering. These are the type of people that want to help other people. Cool. Oh, it's Code Nation now, right? If you Google Script Ed, I'm sure it would come up, but Code Nation, you can volunteer for them. I actually got an interview through one of the people there. You know what I mean? There's so many events happening. You could just literally volunteer at these events, right? Does Dash take volunteers? Probably not. Ask him for 6 minutes of our time. Cool, right? There's something called TechCrunch Disrupt. Have you guys seen the show called Silicon Valley? It's like featured on there. I was a volunteer at TechCrunch last year. They gave me a shirt. I get to kick it with some real devs. Actually, I got a lot of shirts. It was great. Free swag, right? Oh, amen. Love tech. Now they like give out hand sanitizer and you're like, oh, okay, that was a downgrade, but it's fine. So the idea here, right, like DevOps days, right? One of the people that is one of the main organizers in New York City, his name is Matt Walter. He's on the Opcode Slack. Super cool dude. Actually is going to be helping us host next month at Flatiron Health. Is a SRE, all right, a site reliability engineer over at Flatiron Health. That dude runs DevOps days. He's on the staff. Right. That person, yeah, that's free. That person knows people, but you can ask for a few minutes of their time. Yeah, go to meetups, right? This is a great thing to do. So many meetups are free. Please, if you are, just do me a favor. Right? Kevin and I are organizers. We do something like this once a month. If you like him or Andrew, please continue to come. Seriously, they're free. If you RSVP, please show up, right? Like, we spend often out of pocket to buy food, and it's like, great, 90 people are going to go. And then like 29 show up, and I'm like, what am I going to do with all this pizza? I mean, I know what I'm going to do, but you know what I mean? Yes, please. And if you cannot go, change it to no. It helps us so much, all right? You know how much money I spent on pizza? Actually, we mix it up. Sometimes there's like more interesting types of food. But the bottom line is, like, you know, just be real with whether or not you're going to go. It helps. It helps significantly from a organizer's point of view. Also, a Meetup Pro account is not free. I don't know if you guys know this. It's not free. So there's like a lot that goes involved to give you guys these free events. As I'm sure it is for all these other organizations, just be mindful and just be considerate. Practice that empathy, you know what I'm saying, we talked about earlier. Cool. Join other Slack workspaces. They're completely free to join. Operation Code is one of them. There's like Out in Tech. There's like Women in Tech. Whatever you identify with. Unfortunately, I don't think there's like tall white male in tech as a Slack. But whatever else you identify with, potentially, hey, they're out there. They're open public workspaces, and nobody minds if you're extremely upfront and honest and say seriously, like, hey, I'm here for networking. I'm here to learn more about your organization, possibly help out, possibly just meet other people that are doing some cool things, right? When's the next coffee chat? When's the next meetup? Just go. Am I like saying anything like real, like tangible, or you're just like, Evans, you living in a fantasy land? Fantasy land it is. All right. Hey, another pro tip. There's an AWS loft somewhere in New York City. It's Googleable. Soho, south of Houston Street. In case for those that don't know what I recently found out what NoHo was. I'm not a smart man. It's totally free, and they give talks on how to use literally everything on AWS. So for those that are like entry-level devs, how many job descriptions have you seen where it was like AWS experience preferred, or it would be a plus? Yo, get it. It's yours. Get that bread. It's free. Cool. Also, it's a free co-working space that I think HR or marketing people hang out. Nope, devs hang out there. Where you could just go and talk to them and say, hey, what are you working on? Do you mind if I get of your time? You like that? You already know. Adrian, you had something. There is literally an AWS military program. Please Google it. They will give you free AWS training. It is also free for civilians, but there is more training for military folk. Cool. Sorry, we served, right? Like, sorry. Cool. It's like a thank you from AWS, which is awesome. The last thing I'll talk about in terms of growing your network would be go join groups on LinkedIn. I mean, you can only have a certain amount of groups to join, so like be kind of selective. But at the same time, just like literally open up LinkedIn and just like look up groups, type in like tech, JavaScript, Python, data science, whatever you're into, and just like look through, see how many people are in there, join them. There's a real cool benefit to joining groups. Not only do they actually talk about cool, interesting stuff that you're interested in because the group seem interesting to you, but also in terms of being able to connect with somebody, if you are not a second degree connection to somebody in LinkedIn, you cannot like connect with them directly. Well, you kind of can, but it gets kind of sketchy in terms of the algorithm. If you're in the same group though, they're more likely to connect with you. Cool? All right, let's fire that bad boy up. Sorry, that was a microaggression. Let's fire that bad Johnson up. Watch the master at work. All right, keep going. Let's keep going. Just skip this. It's not important. This is just facts that I was going to talk about to like kill time, but now that I don't need to do that, let's fire this up. So knowing your worth, right? Some of you are junior devs. That's cool. Please do not write junior dev. Please don't write junior dev on your resume, on your LinkedIn. It automatically screens you out. And I'm not saying that you're not a junior dev, but what I am saying is junior devs vary in their ability. And for those that either went through a boot camp or are self-taught or have been working for a long time, the imposter syndrome. Like, let's just say you're working for like 2 years. Sometimes I feel like a junior dev. If I put that on my resume, I'd be like completely locked out. And they wouldn't even like bother looking at me. And it's like the imposter syndrome. Allow them to measure your knowledge and worth. Does that make sense? Allow them to make that judgment. So it doesn't hurt to apply. Cool? Honestly, the phone screen's like usually 15 minutes by the HR recruiter. They have no idea what they're talking about, but they know the keywords to look for, and they will screen you out, right? Dude, like, oh, great, you have Node on your resume. Cool. How do you start a Node server? You are not a Node developer. Cool? I mean, it doesn't take a tech person to do that, and that's exactly what they're designed to do. So let them take the next step with you. Cool? Is that fair? All right, the next thing, I talk about a lot of negotiation stuff, but that's for a different time. If you want to know more about negotiations, I'm not the grandmaster, and you do not have to ask for 6 minutes of my time. Just Slack me on the OpCo channel, and I will tell you everything I know. Cool? All right, let's keep going.
Also, in Operation Code, we have compensation channel, which is directly for speaking about this. And If you want to know what your real value is, go to compensation. We keep it real. We will throw out numbers that you should go for, that we will advise you straight and what your worth really is. So just come over to Operation Code Slack.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you my opinion. I love doing that. Yeah, I'm about to keep it real with you, right? Like, if I think you're worth a lot of money, I'll tell you, like, oh, damn, you're a smart dude. Like, Andrew, did you saw a presentation? I was a smart dude. All right, let's keep going. Cool. Let's finally get to these LinkedIn pro tips. All right. A lot of them stolen from this guy named Michael Quinn. Do you guys know Michael Quinn? All right, you should. He's a smart man. All right, cool. So check it out. I'm going to go over like the bullet points, and then I'm going to literally open up this ultimate LinkedIn cheat sheet written by Michael Quinn, and I'm going to walk through it. All right. So, you know what? Just open it. Let's do it. Let's do it live. Thank you. Some of you guys like me. My students, though, God, they hate me. Thank you. All right, cool. Check it out. All right. So the first thing you'll see is this amazing picture. Sorry you cannot see it as well, but I'm just going to try my best to point it out. This was made a while ago, so LinkedIn has changed their user interface. Big ups, right? Prayer hands. Thank you for LinkedIn devs. The bottom line is a couple things I want to point out, right? Your headline. This is very important. If it doesn't say what you do, nobody will care, right? If it's like, I love dogs, like, cool, man. I'm not going to hire you. Well, actually, maybe, but that's me. I'm weird. Workforce and training management. Great. So now if I'm looking for somebody, right, that knows what they're talking about in terms of workforce and training and hiring and HR, I know that Michael Quinn's my guy. Does that make sense? Like, this headline's actually important. And then this is just a little pipe character. This is not magic. You hold shift, it's like the character right above the enter, the return key. And then just put another one there. Cool? This is what this person does. I'm on the fence about putting your secret clearance on there. I have a secret clearance. I don't put it on there. But, I mean, TS, that's pretty money, right? TS poly, yeah, I mean, that's pretty money. I would put that, yeah. That's like a big pro move, right? Oh, yeah, all the secrets. So, please change your headline to something that makes sense, that's relevant, like software engineer, pipe, I love dogs, right? And it's okay. That also show a little bit of flavor, right? Like, literally, we're going to look at mine and we're going to evaluate, and I'm going to show you what mines look like. Cat's out the bag. And then I'll talk about all these things, right? Your summary. Believe it or not, recruiters will read this. I mean, yeah, Michael's a good-looking guy, but I mean, they want to know a little bit more about him. They will actually read this. So take the time to make 2 or 3 sentences about yourself, which, honestly, you're the most qualified person to write that sentence. I don't know if you know that. So congratulations. Nice, right? Contact info I'll talk about. Something that I really want to point out is, I'm sorry, I'm going to throw you under the bus, but I really think you're smart, so it's okay. Who here took a glimpse at Andrew's LinkedIn URL? Who took a look at it? It was like www.linkedin.com/in/Andrew 789432-K. I just made that last. 6502. Oh, how clever and cute. Nobody else would have known that. That's not true. I definitely didn't know, and I'm just projecting. I have a lot of problems. I'm the youngest child. You can analyze that. So let's scroll down and take a look at some of these pro tips, right? Boop, boop, boop. I have a lot of weird noises. Luckily for you, you only hear one presentation from me. My students get lectures all the time. I hear them say it. They're like typing in their text editor, and they'll delete something. They go, oh, boop, boop, boop. I'm like, got them. Now you're like me. All right, check this out. Background image. I don't know if you know this, but you can change it. And now you know. Please do, right? Please make it something like code related, right? If it's just that generic one, it tells me as a recruiter, I'm not a recruiter, but like I've tried hiring people before, that your give a flying fart is low. If you actually change that to something, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. This person like is like investing in this. The only reason that's important is because if I decide to message you on LinkedIn, I want to know, do you check LinkedIn? If you put a lot of time updating your LinkedIn, you're probably a person that checks their LinkedIn. What you think about that? Nobody thought that was funny. Okay. There's a button that says edit public profile and URL. Click this button. Please get rid of those weird, nasty characters at the end of your LinkedIn. That's the default, right? You guys are in dev. It's just like the URL slug that they add on top. So get rid of it. Because when you send out your resume, typically sometimes you send out a digital resume. Someone just want to click that link. Someone's going to want to see that you understand how the internet works. So if I see that your profiles is like linkedin.com/in/evanswang734 Xbox, I'm like, okay, this person has no idea what they're doing. They've never edited a URL before. And I will discredit you. So change it, right? And it doesn't have to be your name. It could be like your boy. Probably don't do that. But what is your professional name and handle, right? Luckily for me, my dad named me Evans. My last name's Wang, so I can be easily confused with quite a number of people. So I just put Evans J. Wang. It's very easy, right? Are there any questions so far? I've been talking for a while. All right, so we're going to scroll through, and we're going to talk about like important things, right? Your photo. You're devs now. Make your photo somebody you want to hire, right? Think about it. I'm sorry to say this, but like for whatever reason, the tech world is like scared of the military. You have this like great photo. You're an E7. You got all these medals. You are very scary. Take that off, right? Have a nice photo of you literally like this, right? Because that's what tech people look like. That's what you are. So just take a cool photo, right? Like you don't like that's your past life. This is who you are now. Cool. Change your background photo. Change your headline. You'll see why this is important. Cool. Let's scroll through. Boop, 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 boop. Summary's important too. Boop, boop. All right. Awesome. Check this out. This right here is what the recruiter will see when they search for people. This is what they will see. All right. They will see how many people came up for their search results that say program manager or developer, software engineer. They will look at this and they will see, great, 8,000, cool. 129 are more likely to respond. If you were a recruiter, what would you search, right? A little filter action, you know what I'm saying? You want to be in this category. How are you in this category? Well, you got to log into LinkedIn once a day. That's one of the main metrics, right? If you actually log into your profile, it'll say your profile is like 80% complete. You should upload this or update this. Make it so that it's 100. Then it'll say something like, hey, your profile is like an all-star. And there's like literally like a star. It's like, great, you did it. That puts you here. Then it filters again. Open to opportunities. There's literally a tab on LinkedIn that you go to your profile that says open to new career opportunities. It's a Boolean. You click it and it turns to true. It's like a little slider. Cool. Engaged with your talent brand. This right here. What groups are you a part of? What do you like on LinkedIn, right? You're not double tapping hearting over here. It's not Instagram. Cool. Do you follow their company? Do you know anybody in their company? Did you slide into somebody's DMs and ask for 5, 6 minutes of their time? This right here is the sweet spot. This is where the recruiters will actually request somebody. I know this because I tested this and I literally got, no lie, I got like 4 requests for like interviews and full stack positions the next day. And I was like, nah, dog, I'm good. I turned it off. But you will get actually hit up once you understand this. Cool. This is what they see. Oh, a picture of you. Scary military man. I'm looking for devs. Get out of here. Cool. You want normal photo here. Cool. It's your name. Boom. This is what they look at super quickly. Then what do? Right? You've been on meme websites. You've been on Instagram. Slide until you see something that catches your eye. Pause. Then explore. Catch their eye. Cool. This right here is what they look at super fast. What you do, what you did before, not as important as much as, boom, not scary, and your headline, right? This is how human beings work. Any questions? Oh, thank God. I don't really know how human beings work. That would have been hard. Cool. Is this person following your company? This helps. And then, how many shared connections do you have? This might be great for a recruiter. Like, oh my God, you know Kim? Me too. Right? It's easier for you to have conversations with them. Does that make sense? All right, let's keep going. Is this LinkedIn stuff useful? Okay, like 6 people think it's useful. Well, thanks for laughing at me. That's good. All right, great. Let's go to my profile. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to throw all this stuff in. It's LinkedIn/in Evans Wang. Look at this guy. Look at that normal photo. Normal photo. Cool. Did I change my background? I did. Then I changed it back. All right. First thing, I'm a software engineer. I'm also a professor. I'm also a meme lover. A little bit of that flavor. And I'm a veteran. Cool? Who wouldn't want to hire that guy? Probably everyone that passed over me. But that's fine. Look, this is my specialties, right? These will come up. I know a little bit about React. I know something about Rails. Redux, kind of. Node, maybe. Definitely some leadership. Sprinkle in some management. You've got Evans Wang. Cool? Oh, and of course, memes. This right here, you can add any publication that you've been in, any meetups that you've talked at rather. So we got great pictures of Andrew, right? Thanks. Shout out to Adrian. Takes photos at all our events. Just take those really high quality photos and just upload them. Like, hey, I gave a talk on embedded systems at a meetup. They don't have to know it was to a bunch of clowns. They just know, like, man, this person gave a talk. This person is smart. That separates you. So smart, right? So what else? Cool. Like, you can add these, right? Like, you can figure out how to do that. Cool. You know, whatever. Your activity, this is very important to understand. What you like, what you comment on, what you share, what you retweet will be seen by all of your connections. So they also keep a log. Literally, it says activity. This is the last 3 things that I did. This is my boy Gary. I said some nice things about him. I shared something about Flatiron School because I love my company. And I said something about WeWork. I'm like really hardcore drinking the Kool-Aid. But the bottom line is they can see what I'm about and that I'm active and that I promote my own company and that I'm like a team player, right? Something like we kind of talked about earlier. All right, you guys don't like the roll safe meme. This is like what I did. You don't have to like go through this. I was a developer for a little bit. Keep scrolling, it's fine, blah, 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 blah. Nobody cares, right? My education, my licenses, great. Add these things in, right? What else you're certified in? This makes you a well-rounded individual because what if the recruiter is all about gains? Like, damn, this dude's a sports performance coach and he's doing CrossFit and he's a developer? That's an interesting guy, actually. I mean, I think I am. Either way. Where do you volunteer, right? Yo, quick plug. Opcode is looking for volunteers. Cool. Boom. I used to be a teacher, right? I was chapter lead. Just scroll through. And then you'll see like, hey, I've done like a bunch of weird stuff. Also, Veterati is a great platform for like mentorship. You can literally reach out to anybody on that platform and get like a 1-hour phone call with them. I was talking to like VPs of like Goldman Sachs before. A couple of phone calls with like startup companies and they're like, their engineering team. When I asked them for like 6 minutes, I got an hour, which is pretty nice. Not a lot of people have done this because I'm like, I don't really mess with this stuff. But ask people shamelessly to endorse you, because honestly, if I'm a recruiter and I see somebody with 100+ on React and another individual who has like similar experience and no endorsements, I know who I'm already sort of partial to. Who would you be partial to, right? That's how human beings think and work. And then write recommendations. Cool. I gave like 2. Actually, I gave more and then I like took them down, but cool. Languages that you speak. And then finally, like, what are you interested in? Well, I'm interested in a lot of like weird stuff. Please don't go there. Oh, it's too late. Embarrassing. Yes, this is important because they want to know like who you are, what you follow, and whether or not you follow similar things. And that can help you significantly. Are there any questions on LinkedIn? So good. So good. Great. Let's go back to the slides. I have like literally 4 or 5 slides left, which will go about like literally like a minute, and then you'll eat donuts. Cool. Boom. Cool. This always kills. when you do your cold outreach, right? Look at this guy. Polite greeting, name, relevant personal link, and managing expect. Nobody laughed. I'm too old. I'm too old. This is from a very old movie. Who has seen this movie? Okay, all right. I guess just nobody here has a funny bone. That's fine. All right, the bottom line is when you cold outreach, and this is what I was telling you about sales, right? What is like the relevant link in here? It could simply be like, hey, I'm a boot camp grad. Or like, hey, we both were in the Navy, right? Boo, Navy. Right? Thank you. Or, hey, you killed my dad. Like, yo, what's up with 6 minutes of your time? Right? No, the bottom line is reach out and just be like, hey, what's going on? How are you? And just hit them up and say what is relevant to the conversation. Hey, we both went to that Opcode meetup. Or like I heard you basically talking about how dumb and weirdly interesting you are. Like, hey, I'd love 5 minutes of your time. And I can try to introduce you to people that I know. I'll look at your GitHub, right? I'll look at your code and I'll kind of gauge you as a developer and then we can kind of take it from there. But the bottom line is like, just 1 or 2 sentences. If you write a paragraph or 2, I'll play this game. If somebody cold outreaches out to you with 2 paragraphs, what do? Man, I'm way too important for that. Not reading that. No way. You just glaze right over it, right? Literally just write 4 sentences like, hey, I saw that you worked at this company. That's no lie, my dream company. This is what I've been doing to study. Would love to talk to you for a few minutes, buy you a coffee, and ask you what your day-to-day is like. I'm trying to break into the industry. All the best, ya boy. Mic drop, emoji, right? And just like, okay, cool. That's like literally like the message I would send. And I've gotten plenty of people like, hey, you seem like a very weird, interesting dude. Yeah, sure, let's meet up. And that's it. Are there any questions? And I hope you found this useful. That's all I got for you. Yeah, send it. Oh my God. Yeah, if you want, I will upload these slides to the Opcode New York City channel. I will make sure they're not editable. Because then you'll lose the data, right? All right, thanks so much.